Donald Trump, currently a candidate for president and a reality TV star and a successful businessman, but somebody got upset about it somewhere on the page of The Guardian, so now we have to discuss this in Parliament.
I'm not sure who it's hateful, but that doesn't matter.
We're almost out of time. This is
Feminism is cancer. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody in here who hates me? Anyone? Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Some people live for chaos, and Milo Yiannopoulos, he's the king. Today we are counting down his wildest gotcha moments that left everyone stunned, speechless, and questioning reality. Starting things off, Milo goes head-to-head with Australian conservative Emma, and sparks fly before the conversation even cools down.
Australian Muslim conservative, I know that's going to blow people up.
Yep, no, it's good. I mean, look, we have fellow confusing identities, so good. Well, we're kindred spirits. Mind-blowing identities. Perfect.
It's mind-blowing. So
actually, I don't know if it is that mind-blowing.
What, that people have opinions?
It depends what kind of conservative you are. If you're a socially conservative, it makes complete sense that you're
we can
you'll be
agree to
Muslim.
disagree. I mean, I will agree with you that we need to eradicate extremism, terrorism, and whatnot. Our democracy in this country is a certain way. We are not living in the Middle East, so therefore anyone that comes here, of course.
Would you rather live in the Middle East? Would you prefer that version?
I was born here. I don't know the Middle East.
Okay.
So this is my country as far as I'm concerned.
But Sharia law is not compatible with the laws here, right? So would you
but
prefer
hang on, but
would you
what part
prefer
of
to live under
Sharia law?
Sharia here?
But
Well,
what part of Sharia laws?
women's testimony being worth
No, but
half of that of a man's
That's
under
right,
certain
and then you
circumstances.
would find that Sharia law in many different parts of the Middle Eastern countries are very different. You have honor killing, you have.
Okay, well, I gave a
female
specific
nudity.
example.
Yeah.
Do you believe in that?
No, I believe in the
Do you
Sharia.
think women should be able to drive?
No, of course they should drive.
do?
A woman is equal to a man. I believe in the five
Well,
pillars.
not in most Muslim countries.
Well,
I mean,
that's right,
anywhere Islam obtains, you find the routine. Persecution of homosexuals and oppression of women. I mean, you're lucky to live here, right?
Absolutely, but that's not normal.
You wouldn't want to
the
move any of those
the
countries.
behaviour of the Sharia law that
can you name a majority Muslim country you'd rather live in than here?
Name a what? Sorry.
A majority Muslim. Is there any country? Forget that for a second. Is there any country
majority Muslim country you would rather live in than here?
No.
Okay, then I think we're
good.
No, but hang on a second. Each country has a certain way of their own law. You have countries like the Middle East that take away the women's rights, but that has nothing to do with Islam. So why
does it occur so often in Islamic countries?
You know why? Because it's been hijacked.
Why is it
you've got people that have hijacked it with extremism. You have some that hijacked it because they just want to be lazy, and you have typical men who want to. Take over the nation.
I could be murdered in 11 Muslim countries, which together comprise about 300 million people.
And you'll find that's not Islam.
For my sexuality.
And that's not Islam.
But that's okay. Well, it's fine for you to say that's not Islam, but you're discounting half your own faith.
No, there's a difference between Islam and Muslims. You have to understand that. It's a behaviour of Muslims that can actually make Islam look bad, right? It's how you want to interpret.
Is there anywhere in the world, in your view, that practices Islam correctly?
Nobody is perfect. No, I don't reckon anybody practices any religion perfectly.
Okay, so everywhere in the world there is Islam. They practice it badly, with the result that they oppress women and murder homosexuals.
Shakespeare still tried to be translated to this date, and that's Shakespeare. There is nobody that can translate anything to the point where they have it.
Translating Shakespeare? It's
in
English.
It's an example.
Example
People
of
are still
what?
trying
He wrote
to,
in English.
No,
we don't translate Shakespeare.
No, but when they do their plays and whatnot, they are still trying to understand the meaning behind Shakespeare.
Are you talking about translation or interpretation?
This is just an example.
Because the Quran is supposed to be the final, unalterable,
and
perfect word of God.
So
you're not supposed to translate it. You're supposed to interpret it with the help of the Hadiths and the Sunnah and all the rest of it.
But it depends on who is teaching. It depends on who is teaching.
So there isn't a single Islamic country or Islamic leader that gets it right. You, on the other hand, have it right.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
You hold the key to a virtuous version of Islam that none of us have ever heard of.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
No Muslim country operates
to
according to. So if we were to give you like the keys to an empty country, you would be able to create a version of Islam that doesn't oppress women and murder homosexuals.
Well, I would create it to the way that God wanted peace and love, and He is just. He is not unjust, as some will.
The principle of Quranic abrogation, right? What it means is that because the Quran is inherently internally inconsistent, like a lot of big, long, complicated books, right? Quranic abrogation is not a Western principle. It is an accepted Islamic principle of scholarship, which says that out of the verses that contradict one another, the verses that were revealed to Muhammad later supersede the ones that were revealed earlier. So if you reorder the Quran chronologically, the stuff that came later that was revealed to Muhammad by Allah later supersedes anything that might be contradictory in the earlier verses.
And who told you this information?
Well, this is very
Which
well.
scholar gave you this information? Did you read it out of the book yourself?
Very
and
well
interpret it that way?
established Islamic scholarship. So the problem that you have, right, is that the later verses, when Muhammad was a warlord, right, supersede the earlier ones, which are all the peace, love, and understanding.
No,
so the
we
jihad,
still-
verses
That's not true.
that are about killing the unbeliever are the
That's
ones
not
that,
true.
according to Quranic,
That is not
according
true.
to Islamic
That is
scholars,
not true. And if the
are the
thing
ones
is-
that
the
supersede
thing
the
is,
peace,
Milo,
love, and understanding.
if we keep saying that, oh, Islam teaches you this, Islam, we can slap each other
you're
back and forth.
you're
We can
challenging
slap
me on
each
the
other
name of
back and
specific
forth.
scholars, and
Hang
you
on,
didn't
let
even
me
know what
speak,
abrogation meant.
Let me speak. We can slap each other back and forth, but if we're going to keep addressing the negative of what
I'm not gonna slap you,
Muslims,
that's a left thing.
Muslims like me that keep saying that's wrong.
I don't use violence.
Muslims
That's
like
your
me
people.
Muslims like me that keep saying this is wrong, and then you keep hearing someone say, oh well, no, it's bad, and you're all murderers, and you're whatnot, and this is what your Quran says.
How many times a day do
How
you
many?
pray?
Hang on a second.
you
How
pray
many
5 times a day?
1 second, please.
Do you pray 5 times a day?
Yes. Well, I try and do my best. I'm not the best.
How many times a day do you
Yes,
pray?
5 times a day, but I'm not
You
the
pray
best.
5 times a day.
I am not the best. I miss a bit. I've made that
when's
clear.
your next prayer today?
Listen,
What time?
I won't have time until I get home.
So you're not
right?
praying 5 times
I'm not
today.
gonna,
Will you pray 5 times tomorrow?
I do my best.
Do you do namaz on
I
Fridays?
do my best. Let me finish
Do you go
my
to namaz
question.
on Fridays?
Let me finish my question.
Do you go to namaz on Fridays?
No, I
Once
do
a
not.
week?
I don't follow a preacher.
So-
I don't follow an imam. Okay? I don't want because I don't want to get confused in certain ways. Regardless,
I
what I'm
just
trying
don't
to
understand in what
Milo,
respect you
what
call
I'm
yourself
trying
a
to-
Muslim.
What I'm trying to say to you is, right? Whether we keep identifying the negative and people like me saying, well, no, we're not all like that. Right? You have your opinion on so many things. We can agree to disagree on so many different levels. What is your solution? If you think you have the answer to everything, please let me know. What is your solution? You're saying
Expel Islam from the West.
Expel Islam from the West.
Yeah. Anyone
So-
who describes
so
themselves as
those
a
who-
Muslim, send them back to the Middle East.
Say that again. Those
Anyone who
what?
describes themselves as a Muslim, we should send back to the Middle East.
So I should go back to the Middle East then.
If you describe yourself as a Muslim, if you believe in the precepts of Islam and all of the things that
Then
Islam
maybe
seems
you
to
need
produce
to
in those countries, I
understand.
think you should
Maybe
go.
you need to then understand what actually Islam means and.
Oh, I understand what
it
abrogation is.
right?
I seem to understand more about the
It
Quran than you
doesn't-
do.
I'm not a scholar, honey. Honey, you've only you just you.
I mean, you can ask me questions about the Bible. I'll know those too.
And you
I
can,
mean,
but that's easy to cherry pick. We can
I'm
cherry
not cherry
pick.
picking. It's
Well,
like
you
it's
have.
I mean, it's
you
like
have. You've cherry picked your little bits and pieces, and you just think, okay, well, that's what I'll just address.
this isn't going very well for you, is it?
No, it doesn't really matter. It's not going very well for you because I'm trying to let you know that there's other Muslims than what you think and you perceive just because you see on media. You said yourself,
Okay,
everything's
so
fake news.
Just describe to somebody. I think that was somebody else with much less nice hair. Is there anybody in public life you consider to be a good Muslim?
My family.
No, in public life. Any famous people you think are good Muslims? You know, like
Muhammad Ali, thank you very
DJ
much.
Khaled. DJ Khaled, perhaps. Any rappers? Like, give me an idea of something.
But you know, you'd find that a lot of the Muslims that don't put themselves out there, you wouldn't even know that they're Muslims.
I think I know
There's,
that
there's
they
a
were
lot.
Muslim.
There's a lot of American Muslims out there who are fabulous. But again, not everything is what you
like,
see in
you like
media.
Linda Sarsour? You think she's cool?
No, I don't think she's cool actually.
Cool. What
I
don't
think
you like
she's
about
cool.
Linda Sarsour?
Well, because I think having somebody with that platform who's spreading, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I can see in media, who's spreading hate and jihad and Sharia, well, that's not what we want.
Because she's considered
When you-
an enlightened, modern, progressive Muslim in America, so you
Well,
don't
good
think
for
she
her.
is?
No, I don't. Anybody that wants to try and change the law in the country that they
so I
reside
don't
in,
mean
then
to,
that's a very different story.
I don't mean to offend you, but if you don't pray,
Don't lie, you do.
well, I don't care if I do, but I'm trying to get to the truth. If you don't pray, you don't seem to agree with any Muslim countries or leaders, you don't follow an imam, you don't go to namaz on Fridays, how are you Muslim?
Milo just tore through her arguments and Emma's on the ropes. And trust me, the clash is only getting hotter.
Seems to be submitting to stupidity. I don't know if you're
No,
submitting to God.
honey, you do your 5 pillars, you pay your charity, you pay,
Do you pay your
pray,
zakat?
you
You pay your zakat
I pay
every
to,
year.
You know,
I pay to
to homeless, to
you
orphans,
pay your
to
mandated
people that
zakat
need it.
every year, do you?
I will
Horse
send,
shit.
No, I
Horse
do.
shit.
I do.
You
I
pay
do.
your zakat on
I
top
do.
of your taxes. You
I
pay your
do.
zakat.
I do.
And you'd
I
be prepared
pay.
to publish that, would you?
Absolutely, I pay, and I can prove it. I've got recording. I can show you children, orphans that I've given my money to who have thanked me.
Who'd you give your zakat to?
I give it to my mother. She goes and gives it to the people that are in need. Thank you
Where
very
does
much.
Where does she live in the Middle East or something?
No,
she out in
when
Syria
she-
building
no,
camps?
No, darling. When she travels, she'll
Darling.
go to orphans. She'll give it to children. She'll give it to because there is no welfare in other countries.
your mother's on holiday in Morocco and gives a few dollars to a beggar, and that's your zakat.
It's not a beggar.
How much
They're not
zakat
beggars.
do
They're
you pay?
people that
How
are in
much
need.
zakat do you pay?
Depends. That's personal.
It doesn't depend. Zakat's a very specific figure. Do you know what it is?
Well, it depends on. No,
No,
I
it
pay
doesn't
for my
depend.
children
No,
as
it
well.
doesn't depend.
It does. It does
Okay,
depend.
so
because there's a few
you're
different
taking on
forms of
zakat for you and your children. I mean, with taxes, you must be left with what, 10% of your salary left?
my business.
Okay, so that was one pillar. What are the other 4?
You've got to go to the pilgrimage. You've got
Have
to
you done the Hajj?
No, I haven't.
Have you done the short one?
One day I'd
Have you done
like
the
to.
short Hajj, the mini one that they do? That's not the full Hajj.
No,
Have you done that?
I haven't
Okay,
done
so
any.
next pillar.
Oh,
Do you know the 5 pillars of Islam?
Yeah, what are we up to?
You don't know the 5
No,
pillars of
I
Islam?
do, excuse me, don't try and twist words. I do know the 5 pillars.
So what are the
But
5 pillars of Islam?
What I'm trying, listen.
I know them. Do you know them?
Yeah, I do. You can tell me all you like.
The central 5 tenets of your own religion. The one that you're saying is so wonderful.
What I'm trying to say to you is, let's not get it about me.
No wonder you don't like Muslims. You don't know what they believe.
No.
No wonder you don't like going to the Middle East. You have no idea about it.
I'm trying to explain to you that there are other different types of Muslims. You put everybody in the same category. Forget about me. Let's just take the focus away from me.
I'm quite interested
right?
in you.
No,
I think you're
let's
fascinating.
get the focus away from me, right? What I'm trying to get out of you is, what would you say to people who are like me that you're putting everybody in the same category? You know, I mean, I'm not the best Muslim. Who cares? But that's between me and God. It's because only God can judge, darling.
Well, I'm judging too. So, I mean, to your credit, I think I'd let you stay because I don't think you qualify as Muslim.
Wow, that was brutal. Milo didn't just challenge her, he shredded her arguments completely. She was left with no comeback, and the audience saw it all. Moving on, we have a confident activist who steps up ready to call out Milo Yiannopoulos. But what unfolds gets heated way faster than anyone expected.
Well, look. One of the biggest disappointments of the current president is that he came in promising hope and change and unity, and he ended up being incredibly divisive. Gridlock in Washington is some of the worst that we've ever seen. Race relations are completely awful, and I think the country is feeling completely divided. Anybody who has made those criticisms of the president under no circumstances should think that Donald Trump is presidential material. You only need to look at his comments on women, or only his comments on Mexicans, or only his comments on Muslims to know that he is a great divider. But put them all together, and this is somebody who is going to tear us apart.
You see, you say that, but that's not what the polls show. Donald Trump's doing really well with women, and he's doing better with Hispanics than, what is it, any Republican since the 1920s? He's doing great with all the minorities that commentators like to say that he's somehow bigoted against. He's doing great with everybody. He's even doing great with Democrats. 20% of Democrats say they'd vote for Donald Trump. So, you know, you hear a lot about Donald Trump being this sort of offensive, clownish populist figure, and he is a populist, and people love it.
These polls are terribly skewed at the moment because there's so many Republicans on that national stage. People are looking to him, they're big fans of his, but they're only at that 30% mark. He has never polled over that 35% mark, and that's because his unfavorability ratings are sky high. They're so much higher than any previous presidential candidate who's actually looking to get the nominations has been. People are polling at 60%, 55%, saying that they will never vote for him. So yes, at the moment, because other people are splitting the votes, he's doing very well. But when you have 60% of the population saying they will never vote for this man ever, put him up against Hillary Clinton, put him up against Bernie Sanders, and he will fail.
Well, you see, again, you say that, but there's been a recent change in the polls. It used to be the case
His
that he was trailing.
ratings are
His
still
unfavorability ratings
sky-high.
aren't great, but he was trailing Hillary. You know, if he wins the nomination, he was trailing Hillary by what, 10 percentage points?
Huge, 20 percentage
Not
points.
anymore. He's now 3 points ahead, 4 points ahead, and some of the polls put him 5 points ahead. What scares people about Donald Trump is they want to attack him the way the media always attacks anybody popular and who actually speaks in plain language to ordinary people about the things they care about, whether it's immigration or jobs or whatever.
But is he a misogynistic racist?
Of course not. He just speaks plainly, and he doesn't mind who he offends because he thinks that the subjects he talks about matter. And when he said last night in the debate, he responded brilliantly to the allegation that he was an angry man. He said, yeah, I am angry, and here are the reasons why. And everybody in that room was behind him.
But if you want somebody who's actually going to attack the anger that Americans are feeling towards the elites, and you want someone who's actually going to stand up and do that,
He's the ultimate
you need
candidate
somebody
for that.
who, A, has a policy. I'm just asking for one. I mean, the man flip-flops on every single issue. All he says is, I'm going to make America great again.
He's totally consistent on immigration. And by the way,
saying that millions of people, regardless of who they are individually, cannot come into your country is not an immigration policy, it's also not constitutional. As Rand Paul has pointed out many times, so much of what he proposes.
People agree with him. And
people do not agree with overthrowing the Constitution in America. I promise you that.
Donald Trump was saying, let's look at whether we should have a temporary halt on Muslim immigration before Cologne. Now Cologne has happened, the whole game has changed.
I don't think
Americans
the whole game
are watching
has changed.
Germany and they're thinking, oh my goodness, we do not want this in America.
I don't think
and
that
the only
Americans have
Republican
become
candidate,
racist
Don't do pointy
overnight.
fingers.
the only Republican candidate who was saying this was Trump. Trump has been right about about immigration, you know, over and over and over again, and he's been ahead of everybody else doing it.
There are deeply conservative candidates like Senator Ted Cruz who are very skeptical of immigration and who have come down hard, who have even said, I want to build a wall with Mexico. Now, I don't particularly...
Well, he said it after Trump.
I don't particularly want to subscribe to that, but there are other candidates out there who are offering these ideas to voters.
And they're polling at 2-3%.
Ted Cruz is about to beat him in Iowa.
You know what?
There are other
Trump,
candidates.
no.
I think the bigger point here is that I am completely understanding of Americans who are frustrated and skeptical of the current system now. What I don't understand is how, when you have other options, you could possibly say that somebody who has been so sexist and so rude against other ethnicities.
And women don't agree with you. Hispanics don't agree with you.
Most of
Blacks
them do.
don't agree with you. They don't.
No,
Massive generalization, surely.
No, it's based on poll numbers. Trump is rating higher with blacks, higher with Hispanics, and higher with women than any other Republican candidate for decades.
Still talking.
There's a campaign in the United Kingdom.
What ordinary voters believe about Donald Trump is so different from what you'll hear from the media and the commentariat. It is untrue.
Milo,
the media did this with UKIP. It backfired. It did it with Corbyn. It backfired. It's doing it now with Trump, and it will backfire here
Milo,
too.
all the suggestion in the polls is actually that he doesn't, that those more moderate candidates are much more likely to beat Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump
not what
is...
the latest numbers show.
Yes, it is. He is doing
if he
a
won
bit
the
better with
nomination
minorities,
today,
but we're still talking about tiny percentages in comparison to the majority of the population.
If he were a sexist and a bigot, wouldn't he be doing terribly with minorities? Wouldn't he, in fact, have at least an average rating with minorities? He doesn't. He has the best numbers with minorities of any Republican candidate in decades.
I have no idea what's in his heart. I have no idea if in his heart he is a racist or a bigot. Frankly, I think I'm not sure he is either. He's such a populist.
Look how many women are in his businesses.
He is such a populist that I think if Americans were skeptical of young white women coming into the country, he would go on TV and say that we should ban them. He is such a populist. All he is doing is trying to feed in to what he thinks is going to make him a winner and get him votes, which is why we've seen him flip-flop on every single issue. He's been willing to say anything. I think people are feeding into him to some extent because they like that he isn't PC, they like that he's an alternative to the establishment, but a man who had the opportunity to actually talk about the serious issues ran with fear and emotion and has made outrageous and hurtful and wrong comments. He's lied on air.
You see, where we
about
differ
crime
is
rates.
I don't care about feelings. I don't care
Do you care about
offense
facts?
taking.
I do
do
care about the facts. Do you care about lying about the number of people?
I don't care about offense taking. I don't care about feelings. You say, oh, he's so offensive, he's so bigoted, he says the awful things about women. American voters don't care either. They agree with him and they agree with me.
I care about facts and I care about the Constitution and I care about upholding the rule of law. And Donald Trump threatens all of those things. And his idea, especially with Barack Obama making this executive action on gun control, this precedent has now been set that if Donald Trump comes in, he's going to be able to use executive action to make some very dangerous decisions.
But Trump is saying he wants to repeal the unlawful things that Obama has done. I mean, Obama's come in and tried to undermine the Second Amendment, which I think we both are strong supporters of, at every available opportunity. You know, he has used his relationship, he has put in place an attorney general who hates the Second Amendment, who wants to take guns off everybody. He himself wants to take guns off everybody. He's tried to undermine it every opportunity. Trump's the one who's come in and said, I will repeal President Obama's unlawful executive actions.
I'll appeal President Obama's unlawful executive actions, and I'll put in place my own. Both men are not the example of presidential material.
It's not just him that said that.
Several candidates have said
that.
Yeah.
And just when you think they've peaked, they crank it up again, and the clash gets even sharper from here.
Well, luckily we have a system that has a lot of checks and balances. I think it would actually be very difficult for President Trump to put into place a lot of the things that he proposes. But given the fact that the past 8 years have been defined by gridlock, the economy remains relatively stagnant, I think you would see so much more of that. Look at President Reagan. He was a B-list Hollywood actor, but the reason that he became such a great uniter and such a great politician is because he took the time to read and to create policies.
But Trump is a Reaganite candidate.
He is so far from it. This is a man who does not have policy, and if he were to be elected, America would be lost. I don't think it would be in complete and utter destruction on day one, but it would be deeply lost, and we need real leadership. We've had 8 years without it.
Hypothetically, we could find... Hello. Hypothetically, we could find ourselves in a position where the new president of the United States of America is banned from the United Kingdom.
Yeah, because British politicians are idiots, and they would rather spend valuable parliamentary time talking about language policing than fixing poverty or fighting terrorism.
Language policing to you, racism to others.
No, well, where has Donald Trump been a racist? Black voters love him. Shouldn't we listen to them rather than to, like, white commentariats? Shouldn't we listen to black voters rather than white people people on TV saying that oh, Donald Trump's such a racist. Black people don't agree.
Milo and I agree on this point, but for completely different reasons. I don't think that Donald Trump should be banned from the UK. I think that the 500,000 people that signed that petition actually fed into an immigration system that Donald Trump would support. They want to ban him based on his ideology because he wants to ban other people based on their ideology. That doesn't add up to me. Completely different reason, but I don't think he should be banned from the UK. It's a silly proposal.
There are lots of good reasons why it is totally dumb for the people who run this country to be wasting time on whether they should ban a person who is currently a candidate for president and a reality TV star and a successful businessman who has some perfectly respectable, ordinary views that millions of people share, but somebody got upset about it somewhere on the page of The Guardian, so now we have to discuss this in Parliament.
I'm not sure who's hateful, but that doesn't
We're
matter.
almost out of time. This is absolutely fascinating. Hopefully you'll come back and talk to us again soon. Who will win the nomination?
Oh, gosh.
Donald Trump.
Oh,
Wait your turn, Milo.
Sorry.
That's unlikely.
I'm just so excited about him.
I'm sure.
I'm split at the moment. If I had to pick now based on the polling, it's between Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Ted Cruz. I think what happens in Iowa and New Hampshire in the next few weeks will determine that front runner.
Your turn.
Can't stump the Trump. Donald Trump is going to win. He's going to get the nomination, absent sort of gerrymandering from the Republican establishment, which is still a possibility. He will win the nomination. What the latest polls show is if he does, he'll beat Clinton.
And he'll make America great again?
He will make America fabulous.
And that wraps up their fiery exchange. A debate packed with sharp claims, clashing views, and zero hesitation from either side. Next up, Milo's no-holds-barred take on one of the most controversial movements, and what he reveals might shock you.
Before we dive into a set of facts and statistics that may boggle your mind, it's my duty to read you your Milo-approved Miranda rights. You have the right to controversial opinions and speech. You have the right to confront and to disagree with, to rebut and to question opinions that don't match your own. You have the right to do all of that without being told that you are violating a safe space. You have the right to reject the brainwashing forced upon you by professors that make Obama look like the aforesaid Che Guevara. And most importantly, you have the right to worship your dangerous faggot. Now, I'm not a real policeman, but... No, I know. I have had some policemen in me. Sorry, I'll stop. It's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap. You should stop laughing. It just encourages me. That's not even in here. I'm just... But I do recognize that blue lives matter. Blue lives matter. Black Lives Matter doesn't really care about black lives. It's, as we'll discuss shortly, more of a movement for attention, money, and, like most activism, more money. To achieve these goals, they focus their energies on cases of black men killed by the police. Well, the work of criminologist Dr. Richard Johnson of the University of Toledo explains just how futile this is. And some of this stuff is tough to listen to. Some of this stuff is not pleasant. It's not the kind of thing that you want to discuss over cocktails, but it's important to understand the problem if you're going to fix it, which Black Lives Matter definitely can't. Based on 2012 numbers, it would take 40 years worth of blacks killed by police to equal the total number of blacks murdered by other blacks in a single year. Right. Less than 400 people a year are killed by cops. 61% of them are white men. 32% are black males. Black men are not killed out of proportion when you consider they're much more likely to interact with police. People are killed by police about as often as they're struck by lightning, but I don't see many protests about storms. Black males are 58% of those killed legally by private citizens in self-defense. And you think, aha, we've got you on something. Except 75% of them were killed by other blacks. FBI statistics on murder lay bare the real threat to black lives in America, and that is other blacks. Black men are about 6.5% of the US population, but they commit 52% of all murders. That has dipped to about 40% in recent years. Black men overwhelmingly murder other black people, and white people overwhelmingly murder other white people. So just like abuse and harassment on the internet, this isn't really a racial issue like that isn't really a gendered issue. Looking at overall violent crime, blacks are 27% more likely to attack whites than vice versa, and 8 times more likely to attack Hispanics. This is the shocking number I hope you take away from my visit. 90% of blacks that die of murder die at the hands of other black people, and that's from the FBI homicide report, 90%. We're not here to talk about why this happens, why 74% of black children are raised without fathers per Health and Human Services, and why the government seems intent on continuing a cycle of destruction within the black community. My message is simple. Black lives don't matter to Black Lives Matter. If they did, they'd be confronting these issues instead of ignoring them completely.
And that's Milo's full breakdown, a clear, data-driven look at the issue that leaves plenty to think about. It's always the shortest videos that hit the hardest, and in just one line, Milo completely destroys feminism.
I've taken some time out of my busy schedule, being fabulous and doing my hair, to prepare a speech for you. Well, a few remarks, really. Feminism is cancer. Thank you very much.
One statement and total destruction. Milo just ended the debate in record time. If you think millennials only care about feelings, you need to think again, because Milo is about to blow that myth wide open.
What I'm discovering as I talk to colleges actually is that the millennial generation, which many of us have written off as a generation that cares more about feelings than facts, has been very unfairly represented by a small vocal minority. Now that minority has power on campuses, has power in the media, has power in the entertainment industry, has power in academia, all sorts of different environments. But I have faith that the millennial generation is more sensible than that. And I think the proof in the pudding, which hasn't really been seen before, is my college talks. You get my college talks, right? I go and I speak to people about free speech and all the rest of it. You see this, like the internet is played out in real life in the audiences in my talks. You get Trump supporters, Black Lives Matter, feminists, classical liberal, all these people. I mean, it's got like Trump chants versus the Black Lives Matter. It's an amazing thing. The level of
and then a wave afterwards.
Right. The level of intellectual diversity in that generation is very much not what you would think.
Turns out the millennials are smarter than the headlines suggest, as Milo just exposed the real truth behind campus minds. Ever wondered what happens when Milo calls out the haters? This moment gets hilarious fast.
Is there anybody in here who hates me? Anyone? Yes, there we go. Thank you. I'm afraid, this is an event for 7s and above, so anyone who just put their hand up, please leave.
And just like that, Milo silenced the room. No nonsense, all the laughs and pure chaos. Get ready as this man walks in calm, polite, and ready to challenge Milo on feminism. But does politeness hold up when Milo fires back?
Hey, my name is David Turan, and I'm actually coming here to reject what you are proposing here. Okay. And I came here to do it respectfully because I don't think what these people are doing outside is effective. I figure you could give me a few minutes to speak my piece, if everyone's open to that right here. Thank you.
Isn't it sad when somebody has to apologise for 100 people outside and we give them a round of applause for being reasonable and polite? This is the current state of the left.
Well, thank you very much. You probably won't like what I have to say, but anyway.
That's fine. All the more reason to say it.
Anyway, I wanted to ask the audience, how many people here who considers themselves anti-feminist or anti-social justice warrior, just a show of hands, like how many of you have ever taken a basic introductory perspectives on gender course? Yeah, that's exactly.
Why would you willingly infect yourself with cancer?
Because I think that what you're doing is spreading misinformation about feminism. I think in order to understand feminism, you have to do your homework, and that includes getting a proper education to understand what these issues are that feminists are talking about. When I took a class at Cal State San Bernardino, it was called Perspectives on Gender, and it was taught by 3 professors of different disciplines that gave us the humanities, social science, and natural science basis for a lot of these ideas that feminists are talking about. They didn't come up to us over our heads and beat us over the head with the patriarchy or, safe spaces or any of this crap you talk about, which, by the way, I agree with you on a lot of these things. You don't have to accept these things to be a feminist, by the way. And I think that's kind of what you do, is you kind of strawman feminists and think that that's what it's all about when you don't know what you're talking about. Frankly,
I think what we have to do, because feminism is probably the movement in intellectual history has been the least able to consistently, reliably, and define itself. And I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's all women. But it's been a movement that has never been able to agree on a single definition of itself. So what we have to do is look externally and see, what does it look like? What do they say? What do they do? So I look at the prospectuses of gender studies courses and women's studies courses. I find them wanting. I look at the columns.
But have you actually gone to a class?
I have.
Okay, good. Well, no, the thing is that I think this whole campus tour, what you're trying to do is sidestep the entire academic process. Your ideas have not passed peer review. You haven't done your scientific research. You haven't even done anything. And you can laugh at me all you want. Go ahead, try to make me into a Trigglypuff.
Could you give an example of something that you've learned in that class that you would
Example.
like?
Let me tell you what I've learned in that class.
Isn't everyone?
We have learned that basically there is a basis in natural science, social science, and humanities for a lot of these issues. And if you understand the underpinnings, when feminists come to you talking about the patriarchy, you're not going to freak out and think it's some big conspiracy. You're going to understand what they mean. So I would encourage everyone in this class to sign up. And if you can't do that, go to my YouTube channel, bitch.lo. David underscore YouTube.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid we've been going for a long time and I still haven't heard a decent question.
One more question.
I think we're done, so thank you very much. It's time for you to give the mic to somebody else. Thank you.
I listened to you for over an hour. I listened to you for over an hour.
Let's go. Thank you.
You're not interested in debate. You just want to push your propaganda.
Thank you. You're plugging your site. You're promoting your YouTube channel. Nobody watches it anyway.
I think it's a perfectly reasonable. So, in that let's be respectful. Let's be respectful. He came here perfectly. Look, let's be nice. Let's be nice to the poor guy. He arrived perfectly respectfully. He was triggered by the end, but he started off perfectly respectfully before his rage quit. Now, in that word, Sarah, I'm going to do him a favour because I'm going to try and distill down what I think he was trying to say, which is that I'm mischaracterizing feminism. What I was trying to say to him was we only know it by what we see, right? We can only judge it by what it produces. It produces lies. The sorts of gender studies and women's studies sort of feminism that he is seeking to stand up for has produced the lie of the wage gap, which suggests that women are paid less than men for the same work. They're not. It has produced the lie of campus rape culture. It has resulted in an atmosphere in which it is fine to belittle and demean and criticize men for their organs and their orientation. It has created a culture in which kill all white men, masculinity so fragile, and I bathe in male tears become not just permitted, but encouraged. Those are the results of the kind of gender feminism that he would like to stick up for. And frankly, I'll save myself the time with the textbook.
By the end, Milo dismantles the argument with ruthless precision. What started as a respectful debate turns into a masterclass in owning the narrative. Well, that wraps up Milo Yiannopoulos' wildest gotcha moments. From shocking comebacks to moments that left everyone speechless. He's proven time and again that controversy follows him wherever he goes. If you thought these were insane, just wait. There's always more chaos around the corner.